I needed to get away. A week back, I lost my job and my mind was racing. Headless Valley seemed like the perfect escape. I'd camped before, so I thought a couple of days in nature would help me unwind. I set up my tent on the first night, surrounded by trees. After eating a can of cold beans, I crawled into my sleeping bag, hoping for peace. Around midnight, I woke up. Something wasn't right. I heard noises outside. At first, I thought it was a deer, just some branches snapping. But then I heard laughter. It wasn't loud, just soft and distant, but it chilled me to the bone. I tried to ignore it, but it kept happening. The laughter mixed with the sounds of twigs breaking, and it made my skin crawl. In the morning, I brushed it off as wildlife. I packed my things and hiked deeper into the valley, hoping to clear my head. I walked for hours, the unease still clinging to me. That's when I noticed odd symbols carved into tree trunks. They looked ancient and strange. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. By the second night, I stumbled upon an abandoned campsite. The fire pit lay cold and empty. A tent was unzipped and left half open, like someone had just vanished. My stomach dropped when I spotted a half-eaten granola bar on the ground. It felt wrong. Why did it look like someone left in a hurry? I took a glance around, but I was alone. As I continued my hike, I began to see shadows in my peripheral vision. Quick movements darted between the trees, but every time I turned to look, nothing was there. My heart raced, and I struggled to focus. I tried to convince myself it was just my imagination. Just keep moving, I thought. The third night was worse. I woke up again to the laughter, clearer this time, echoing through the trees. I felt paralyzed in my sleeping bag. My flashlight shook in my hand as I pointed it into the dark. For a moment, I thought I saw something shift among the trees, a dark shape moving fast. I shouted for whoever it was, but the laughter stopped instantly. That sudden silence played tricks on my mind. My breath quickened, and I could feel a wave of fear. I didn't want to stay there anymore, but I couldn't seem to move. I finally decided to leave the tent, thinking I'd head back to my car. When I stepped outside, the air felt heavy. Then I heard a whisper. "Why are you here?" I spun around, but nothing was behind me. Maybe it was just the wind. I didn't know, but doubts flooded my thoughts. I needed to escape Headless Valley before it decided to keep me. As I turned to leave, the laughter returned, echoing, taunting me through the trees. I ran. I didn't stop running until my legs felt like lead. The laughter lingered in my ears, bouncing off the trees, mocking my every step. I had no destination, just the desperate need to escape the unseen presence behind me. The forest closed in, the branches clawing at my clothes, and the underbrush crackled under my feet. Eventually, I slowed down, panting hard, and leaned against a sturdy tree trunk. I had to think. My heart hammered in my chest. Pulling out my flashlight, I turned it on, letting its beam cut through the dense darkness. I squinted into the swirling shadows, half expecting something to jump out at me. "Get a grip," I muttered. I was a grown man, not some scared kid hiding under the bed. I just needed to find my way back to the main trail. That's when I noticed it, a flicker of light in the distance. Hope ignited in me. I hesitated for a moment, but then started moving toward it. Maybe it was another camper, or even a ranger. As I approached, I could see that the light came from a small clearing where a fire was burning. It was a relief until doubt crept in again. Should I call out? What if it was a trap? I chose caution and moved closer, staying low to the ground. The laughter had died down, but now a different sound filled the air. Singing. A soft, eerie tune floated through the trees. I crept closer, drawn by the melody despite my instincts screaming at me to turn back. Through the trees, I could finally make out shapes, figures dancing around the fire. They were donned in tattered clothes, their faces obscured by shadows. I felt an icy pang of dread. This wasn't a friendly gathering. It felt wrong. I was about to retreat when one of them turned towards me. I froze, my heart pounding. The figure raised an arm, pointing directly at me. Everything in me told me to run, but the fear of being discovered kept me rooted in place. I held my breath as the others, there were 4, maybe 5, stopped what they were doing, their heads snapping in my direction. The leader, a tall figure with unruly hair, laughed. It was the same laugh I had heard before, echoing in the woods. "Come join us," he called, his voice sharp and enticing. "We've been waiting for you." I stumbled backward, my mind racing. I needed to flee, but my body wouldn't move. I remembered the symbols from earlier, the abandoned campsite, the whispers in the dark. Panic surged, fueling my legs just enough to turn and run. As I sprinted away from the clearing, the laughter erupted again, louder, more menacing. There was no way I would shake it off this time. Then, everything went dark. I collided with something solid, a tree trunk. Falling to the ground, I dropped my flashlight, and it rolled away, its beam flickering and cutting through the darkness. I scrambled to my feet, heart racing as I searched for the light. A shadow loomed nearby, and in that moment of vulnerability, I felt a hand grip my shoulder. "Why are you afraid?" The voice breathed right into my ear. I whirled around, terror rooting me in place, and that's when I saw it, a face, pale and twisted, grinning at me through the dark. I stumbled back, my heart hammering like a drum as I fought to process what I was seeing. The face was pallid, sunken, eyes wide and unblinking. My instincts screamed to run, but a horrific fascination held me in place. It was as if the figure drew power from my fear. "Don't be shy," it said, grinning wider, showing teeth that looked unnaturally sharp. The laugh came again, a chilling sound that echoed in the still air of the forest. I took a step back, and the creature matched my movement, closing the space between us with an unsettling grace. I could feel dread coiling around me like a noose. My mind raced. What kind of nightmare had I stumbled into? In an attempt to regain control, I took a deep breath and turned to run. The laughter grew louder, mixing with the singing I had heard earlier. The figures around the fire were now silent, their attention fully on me, as if I was the main attraction. I sprinted blindly, branches slapping against my face, the ground uneven beneath my feet. I burst into another clearing, panting, and skidded to a halt. The light from my flashlight danced erratically, but illuminating nearby trees now felt futile. I had just escaped one nightmare, only to find myself in another. As my breathing steadied, I could hear whispers around me, although I couldn't make out what they were saying. "Just a little further," I heard one voice say, almost like a plea. My instincts flared. The shadows felt thicker here, darker and more alive. My mind raced back to what I could remember, to the chance that I might not be the only one lost in this cursed place. "Is anyone there?" I called out, my voice trembling. A part of me hoped for an answer, but the eerie stillness mocked me. Then something caught my eye by the trees, a flash of color. I edged closer, hoping against hope it might be a jacket or anything left behind by another camper. I cautiously approached and saw it was a scrap of fabric, frayed and dirt-stained. As I reached out to touch it, a small rustling came from the brush, and my heart lurched again. "Help," a weak voice whispered. I froze. It sounded human, filled with desperation. "Please, help!" I jerked back. Who was that? My instincts screamed to flee, but part of me wanted to help. I looked in the direction of the voice. Shadows shifted, and I could barely see a form crouched behind a bush. "Who are you?" I shouted, desperation creeping into my voice. "I'm trapped," the voice replied, panic coursing through it. "They won't let me leave. You have to help me before they find you." Before I could respond, the ground beneath me trembled slightly. A low rumble echoed through the trees. My chest tightened with fear. I had to choose: stay and risk whatever darkness was lurking, or run and leave whoever it was behind. Suddenly, the laughter erupted again, coming from all sides. Just as I turned to run, heavy footsteps charged toward me. Instinctively, I grabbed the fabric, feeling its threadbare edges. Then I took off into the night, the haunting promise of the forest echoing around me. Hope mingled with dread as shadows began to close in yet again. I realized as I ran, deep in my bones, that whatever was out there was not just chasing me, it was closing in fast. I ran as fast as my legs could carry me, the shadows darting at my heels. The laughter and whispers followed, an eerie choir that called my name in mocking tones. I didn't dare look back. I could feel their presence looming, even without seeing them. There was something sinister and hungry in their laughter. The fabric I clutched fluttered in the wind, a grim reminder of the person who had cried for help. My heart wrestled with guilt, but survival pushed me forward. The trees grew denser, their gnarled branches clawing at my clothes as I tore past. Suddenly, my foot caught on a root and I stumbled, crashing to the ground. The flashlight slipped from my grasp, sending beams of light dancing chaotically across the darkened forest floor before flickering out. Panic surged inside me. The weight of darkness enveloped me like a blanket. I scrambled to my feet, heart racing, the forest pressing in closer, suffocating. I ducked behind a tree, trying to catch my breath. The laughter faded momentarily, replaced by the pounding of my own pulse. My ears strained to listen, but all I heard was the rustling of leaves and the whisper of the wind. Then came a sound that made the hair on the back of my neck stand up, a low growl, not far off. My heart dropped. I wasn't alone. Whatever was hunting me was nearby, waiting for me to make a wrong move. I edged away from the tree and pressed myself against the rough bark, hoping to blend into the shadows. Every fiber of my being screamed for me to run, but I couldn't afford to be careless. The memory of the weak voice pleading for help flashed in my mind, another layer of torment on my conscience. What if I was the reason someone else's fate was sealed? I had to find that person. I couldn't turn back. I had to believe they were still alive. Searching for a flashlight in the dark was like grasping at shadows. Just then, I spotted it, a small flicker of light that seemed to pulse in the distance. I squinted, pushing down panic as I debated my next move. Could I trust it? My instincts were a tangled mess of fear and urgency. As I crept toward the light, the growling grew louder, closing in, a chilling reminder that I was still being hunted. I ducked lower, prepared to bolt if needed. Then, like a beacon, it illuminated a clearing, revealing a crude wooden structure at the center. It looked like an old cabin, its door slightly askew. Was this where the whispers led me? It seemed like an odd sanctuary, promising safety and perhaps answers. But what waited inside? With no other choice, I stepped closer, adrenaline coursing through my veins. My instinct screamed that I needed to enter, that the fleeting light might hold the key to my survival, and perhaps the survival of the person still trapped in this nightmare. Just then, the door creaked open, and I froze, a figure appearing in the threshold. That's when I saw it. The figure in the doorway was cloaked in shadows, their features obscured. My breath hitched as I strained to make out any details. The flickering light from within the cabin cast a dim halo around the person, but they stood still, almost waiting for me to make the first move. "Hello?" I called out, forcing my voice steady despite the knot of fear tightening in my stomach. "Is someone there?" The figure shifted slightly, and I could make out a faint outline, a tall silhouette, arms hanging loosely at their sides. My instincts screamed at me to run, but the weight of the fabric in my hand reminded me of the person I had to find. I couldn't leave now. "Help!" a voice rasped from the shadow. It sounded strained, like the person hadn't spoken in ages. It was a plea tinged with desperation. My heart raced. Had they heard the cries I had chased? "Where are you?" I asked, though part of me feared the answer. "Inside," the figure said, pointing back into the cabin. My mind raced. Was it a trap? I couldn't shake the feeling that danger lurked in every direction. But the thought of leaving someone else behind gnawed at me. Taking a cautious step forward, I braced myself for a fight or flight moment. "Are you hurt?" I asked, straining to see more of them. "Just come in," the figure insisted, their voice sinking into the hollow, echoing weakly off the cabin walls. With a deep breath, I took another step, entering the cabin. The air inside was stale, filled with the scent of damp wood and something else I couldn't quite identify. My eyes adjusted slowly to the dim light, revealing the interior. A room cluttered with debris, long abandoned furniture scattered about as if someone had rushed to leave. "Where are you?" I called again, trying to pierce the gloom. "Over here," the figure replied, now more distinct but still hidden in shadow. I noticed a flickering candle on a table, barely illuminating the corner where the figure stood. I moved closer, heart pounding wildly. A gasp escaped my lips when I finally saw their face. It was pale, eyes wide with fear. But it wasn't an ordinary fear. It was the kind that came from knowing something horrible lay just outside. "You shouldn't have come here," they whispered, trembling. "Then what do I do?" I asked, panicking as the growl from outside grew louder. Whatever was stalking me was looking for more than just its next meal. "They won't let you leave," the figure warned. "You need to hide." Before I could react, the door slammed shut behind me, jolting me with terror. The sound echoed, and the shadows pressed in closer. That's when another growl reverberated through the cabin, and I realized that I wasn't just trapped with a terrified stranger. Whatever was out there had found its way inside. The hunt was far from over. My mind raced as I turned back toward the figure. "Hide? Where?" I whispered, desperate to gauge the danger closing in on me. The growling noise outside intensified, a low, rumbling sound that sent chills down my spine. It was clear whatever hunted me was relentless. "Under the floor," the figure said, urgency coloring their voice. They moved swiftly to a corner where faded floorboards looked uneven. I hesitated for just a moment, glancing back toward the door as the growl echoed again, closer this time. With no other choice, I scrambled to the corner and knelt, pushing the floorboards aside. They creaked, protesting as I worked to pry them up. The figure glanced nervously at the door, their body tense with anticipation. "Please," they urged, "they won't wait long." Just as I hefted the last of the boards away, a crash rattled the cabin. The door shuddered violently against its frame, and I froze. My mind screamed at me to get out of sight. I quickly ducked under the opening, my breath hitching in my throat as darkness swallowed me. The musty air smelled of earth and decay. My heart thrummed in my ears as I pressed my back against the cool ground, peering through the narrow gap. The figure lingered above, seemingly oblivious to my escape into the cramped space. A moment later, the door burst open. The light from outside sliced through the cabin like a knife, revealing a monstrous silhouette that loomed in the doorway. It was massive, shadowy limbs stretching unnaturally, and its growls morphed into a maddening snarl. The figure backed away, eyes wide, raising a trembling hand in defense. I wanted to shout at them to run, but no sound came as I watched them stall in fear. "Get out!" I wanted to scream. The creature moved inside, snuffling the air like a wolf on a trail. It sniffed at the furniture, knocking aside a broken chair that crashed to the floor. It was hunting. The figure pressed against the wall, trying to blend into the shadows. From my hiding spot, I could see the creature's maw, empty and void of warmth. It scanned the room, eyes alight with a deep intelligence that contrasted with its monstrous form. Would it sense me too, hidden just beneath the floor? The figure made a small whimper, and the creature froze, nostrils flaring. There was a moment of stillness as the two seemed to lock in a deadly dance of predator and prey. My chest pounded in terror, hands clammy against the dirt beneath me. Then, in a flash, the creature lunged forward, jaws snapping. The figure bolted to the side, narrowly avoiding the deadly bite. I winced, praying it wouldn't turn its attention toward me. Everything happened in a blur. A desperate scuffle broke out. The figure fought with an uncanny resilience, grabbing an old pipe that had fallen nearby, swinging it at the creature in defense. But would it be enough? That's when I noticed something flicker in the corner of my eye, a glint of metal among the piles of useless junk scattered across the room. Hope surged in my chest. If only I could reach it. But the noise of the struggle erupted above me, and suddenly the cabin was alive with chaos. I gripped the floor tightly, knowing I had to make my move. Then, everything went quiet. I couldn't see what had happened, but I knew one thing for sure. I had to get out. As I angled my body toward the opening, hesitation surged through me. What if the creature was still there? What if I had just sealed my fate? With one last glance at the opening beneath the boards, I made my choice. It was time to confront what lay above, and maybe, just maybe, find a way to escape this nightmare. I pushed myself out from under the floorboards, pulse hammering in my ears. The cabin was still, but I could feel a heavy tension in the air. I carefully maneuvered to a standing position, eyes darting to the darkened corners where the creature had once been. My heart dropped when I saw the figure lying on the ground, still and silent. I rushed over, dread pooling in my stomach. "Are you okay?" I whispered, hesitant to disturb whatever precarious peace had settled. They didn't respond. Panic surged in me. Had I hidden away while they were attacked? There was no time to think. I knelt beside them, checking for signs of life. They were breathing, shallow and quick. Relief washed over me, but before I could gather my thoughts, I heard a noise outside. It sounded like the creature was still prowling about, searching for its next target. I glanced toward the door, my pulse quickening as I weighed my options. The room was cluttered with debris, but I recalled seeing that glint of metal earlier. I needed to find it. It might be the only weapon I could use. "Stay here," I told the figure softly, even though I had no idea how they would respond. I stood up, slowly, edging towards the pile of junk that had caught my eye earlier. The shadows danced around me as I glanced nervously over my shoulder, feeling the urgency of time closing in. As I rummaged through the mess, I stumbled upon an old toolbox. My fingers dug through the rusted tools, heart racing as I searched. Somewhere inside, I could almost hear the creature thrashing outside the cabin, searching for something, someone. Then I felt it. My hand closed around the handle of a rusty wrench. It wasn't much, but it was better than nothing. Gripping it tightly, I turned back, ready to make my way toward the figure. But something stopped me. The familiar growl had grown closer, and this time it was accompanied by a strange clicking sound. I felt the air shift as dread washed over me. The creature was coming back. I pressed my back against the wall, looking for any place to hide. The cabin was ill-equipped for escape. Too small, every corner cluttered. That's when I spotted the window. It was small, but if I could just reach it, I could get out. I barely hesitated as I made my way back towards it, wrench held tightly in my fist. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw the door push open slightly, just an inch, as if something was testing it. My stomach dropped. I had to act before it came inside. With a burst of adrenaline, I rushed to the window, crouching down as I tried to figure out how to get it open. A loud crash echoed from the door, and I caught a glimpse of a shadow emerging. Adrenaline surged in me as I grappled with the latch. Finally, with a sharp pull, the window sprang open. I peered outside into the night. Darkness and trees loomed ominously. I had to go now. Just then, I felt the presence behind me, heavy and menacing. I turned, and to my horror, the creature loomed in the doorway, staring directly at me with those chilling eyes. There was no time to think. I was running, escaping into the unknown. That was it. I leapt through the window, leaving the cabin and all its horrors behind, desperate for freedom. But what I found on the other side sent shivers down my spine, for I soon realized I was not alone in these woods. Branches scratched against my skin as I stumbled through the underbrush, my heart still racing from the cabin and the creature that had loomed behind me. The forest was dark and dense, swallowing the moonlight whole. I felt like I was in a nightmare where the shadows held secrets I wasn't ready to confront. I forced myself to listen, to focus. The rustling of leaves was everywhere, mixing with the echo of the growl still haunting the edges of my mind. I tightened my grip on the wrench as I moved cautiously, half expecting something to leap out at me from the darkness. Then I heard it, a low whistle, almost a tune carried by the wind. It sounded eerie and unnatural. My instincts screamed at me to keep moving, but curiosity tugged at me too. What if it was someone else, someone who could help? As I crept towards the sound, my breath caught in my throat. Ahead, I saw a flicker of light. Not a campfire, but something brighter, pulsing like a heartbeat. It compelled me to approach, drawn by the glow as much as by the haunting melody. I emerged into a small clearing, and what I found made me question my sanity. Several figures stood around a bizarre iridescent object, an orb, maybe, floating above their outstretched palms. They were humanoid, but not human, their skin shimmering in the light. They seemed to be lost in a trance, the music weaving through the air like smoke. Adrenaline coursed through my veins. This wasn't a friendly camp. I inched back, desperate to escape without drawing attention. But it was too late. One of them turned, eyes locking onto mine. Those eyes weren't human. They gleamed with an otherworldly awareness. My survival instincts kicked in again. I pivoted, heart pounding, and began to run through the trees. The whistling had stopped, but I could feel their presence behind me, closing in as I darted around the trunks. Panic surged. I couldn't go back to the cabin, not with that creature, and especially not with these things. Branches snapped beneath my feet, and I fought to keep my focus. I glanced over my shoulder and saw them pursuing me, not running, but gliding, as if they were a part of the darkness itself. I veered to my left, looking for anything that might hide me. Then I spotted it, a narrow crevice at the base of a large boulder. I bolted towards it, squeezing in just as I heard their whispers start to flood the air again. I pressed myself against the cool stone, breaths shallow and quick, praying they hadn't seen where I'd gone. The whispers grew louder, incomprehensible yet resonant. I could sense them moving around me, searching, but could not see them from my hiding place. I held my breath, trying to drown out the sound. Was this how it would end, trapped between two nightmares? Suddenly, a flash of light ignited the clearing, brightening even the shadows wrapped around me. Then, everything went silent. I realized I might have another chance, but would I be able to escape before whatever spell had trapped me was cast anew? With that thought burning in my mind, I prepared to make my move. I needed to find a way out of this valley filled with odd encounters, but now I wasn't sure if I would ever return to the safety of the cabin, or if it had been safety at all. The silence pressed down on me, thick and suffocating. I waited, counting the seconds in my head, willing my heart to slow. Just as I was about to push back into the night, a low hum filled the air, the sound vibrating through the earth beneath me. It was unsettling, a clear signal that I wasn't alone. I peered out through the crevice, but couldn't see anything. The light from the orb flickered and pulsed, illuminating parts of the clearing, casting strange shadows on the trees. I strained my ears, tensing at every sound, hoping to remain hidden. Then, a figure stepped closer to my hiding spot. I felt my breath hitch. It was one of them, the shimmering beings, now just a few feet away. They moved differently, as if they were gliding instead of walking. The glow reflected off their skin, lighting up features that were almost human, but not quite. A deep sense of dread washed over me. I pressed myself deeper into the crevice, squeezing tight against the cold rock, praying they wouldn't sense me. The figure paused, tilting its head, and I could have sworn it looked right at me. My heart surged as icy fingers of fear gripped me. I closed my eyes, hoping invisibility would save me. But the humming grew louder now, a strange melody swirling around me, brushing against my mind. I felt a pull, an eerie invitation. Just then, another voice broke through, sharp and commanding. "Search the shadows, it must be here." The first figure turned sharply, and I caught only a glimpse of its face, a faint smile that twisted my stomach. They were hunting me, like prey. Panic surged again. I had to move. With a burst of courage, I pushed back from the boulder, slipping out of the crevice, careful not to make a sound. I crouched low, darting behind trees, keeping as quiet as possible. The whispers grew again, a mix of excitement and frustration. They were close, and I could see them drifting around the clearing like smoke, searching for me. I darted deeper into the forest, breathless and desperate. An old, gnarled tree loomed ahead, its trunk split, a natural hiding spot. I dived behind it, my back pressed against the rough bark. My mind raced. They were looking for me, but why? What were they waiting for? I needed answers, but I also needed to survive. As I caught my breath, something caught my eye. In the hollow of the trunk, half buried under leaves, lay a small, glimmering object.
My heart raced again. Was it a tool, a weapon, or something else entirely? It shimmered like the figures, but I had to know. I reached for it, but just then, a terrifying screech tore through the silence, and my blood ran cold. They had found me. I didn't wait to see what happened next. I had to make a choice: stay and confront whatever was coming, or run deeper into the unknown. A flicker of determination ignited within me. I couldn't let fear dictate my decisions any longer. I bolted from my hiding spot towards the thickets, but that
screech followed close behind, echoing through the trees. Branches whipped at my skin, but I wouldn't stop. The shadows stretched, pulling me further into the darkness as the whispers transformed into furious shouts. I needed to find a way out. Something told me that whatever I had just uncovered would become crucial to my survival. And as I ran, I knew that this was only the beginning. I ran, putting as much distance as I could between myself and the menacing figures. My instincts screamed at me to find a way out, to escape the thrumming heartbeat of the valley that seemed to lure me deeper into its clutches. The air was thick, suffocating, as if it was alive with something sentient and cruel. The figures glided behind me, their whispers merging into a chaotic chorus, and all I wanted was silence. My feet pounded the ground beneath me as I veered off the worn path, seeking refuge in the dense thicket that bordered the edges of the clearing. My heart raced, each beat thundering like a warning drum. I pictured the shimmering orb still pulsating, beckoning as it flickered in the darkness. But that screech echoed in my ears, haunting me. It drove me faster, deeper. My mind battled between survival and that unshakable dread that bubbled up from somewhere primal. The fear of the unknown propelled me, yet I felt a strange attachment to this otherworldly struggle, an urge to comprehend the relentless chaos of the night. I pressed on, stumbling over roots and tucking low beneath branches that reached like skeletal fingers. There was something just ahead. A dim light shone through a thicket, drawing me in. I paused, knowing that light could be either hope or another trap. But what was awaiting me in this place bent on consuming me alive? I approached cautiously, peering through the lush foliage. The light brightened with every step I took. I pushed through the last branches and stumbled into a new clearing. A cottage stood before me, small and unassuming, but pulsing with that same iridescent glow, just like the orb those figures had gathered around. "Why are you here?" It was a voice, soft yet commanding. I turned quickly to see an elderly man standing by the entrance. His eyes glimmered with an unusual light, almost like those beings. I stuttered, feeling a mix of relief and apprehension. "I don't know. I was running from something." "The valley chooses its own," he interrupted, his voice grave. "It shows you what has been lost and what has yet to be found." I blinked at him, not understanding. The whispers surged anew, echoing through the trees, making my skin crawl with dread. "What do you mean?" "They want to keep you here," he warned, gesturing toward the forest. "But you can break free. It takes strength and a choice. Move toward the light. They will try to deter you." The shadows pressed in, and I felt the weight of the figures I had fled, creeping back toward me. But what if they catch me again? I looked him in the eye, panic rising within me. "Then you must fight it. In the light lies your truth," he said, voice steady and comforting. For a moment, I hesitated. I could see the boundary of the trees thickening, closing in, like a noose tightening around me. But I also felt the light, warm against my palms, pulling me forward. I remembered the weak voice I had heard, reminding me that I wasn't alone in this fight. With a deep breath, I took a step toward the cottage, but the shadows lunged forward. The figures arrived, gliding effortlessly, their eyes glowing wickedly. "Come back," one of them hissed, the otherworldly tones swirling around me. "You belong to us now." Their laughter returned, a cacophony of sound that sent shudders through the night, threatening to swallow me whole. I tightened my grip on the rusty wrench, holding it like a lifeline. The elder's voice echoed in my mind, urging me to keep moving. In one fluid motion, I broke into a run towards the cottage, the shadows clawing at my heels. I burst through the door, heart hammering, as I felt a sudden rush of light envelop me, shining through the windows like an ethereal guardian. They stopped at the threshold, the figures hesitating, eyes wide. "You can't hide here," one whispered, but the light seemed to penetrate through their very essence. The cottage pulsed with energy. "What is this place?" I breathed, amazement undulating through me. "The heart of the valley," the elder replied, standing firm. "You must embrace it. The truth of who you are lies within this light." I felt the warmth washing over me, mingling with the darkness of the night. The choice lay before me, standing firm against the swirling chaos outside. I took a deep breath, grounding myself within the light. "No," I said firmly, "this is my choice." The figures twitched as if in agony, their features flickering. I focused, pulling the warmth into my heart, summoning a hidden strength. It grew within me like an ember ignited, illuminating my fears, burning them to ash. With a surge of conviction, I stepped closer to the light, thrusting the wench outward as if carving a path through the very fabric of the valley. My voice echoed, rallied with newfound power. "I choose to be free!" A blast of brilliance erupted from within the cottage, instantly engulfing the figures. The laughing and whispers became a distant murmur as the light pushed them back into the depths of the forest. I felt their presence waning, like shadows receding before dawn. Then, just as quickly as it happened, everything fell silent. The glow faded, and I staggered back into the cottage, blinking against the strange after-effects. But I was still here. I had escaped. I could feel my heart beginning to slow as I glanced toward the elder, a breath of relief spilling from my—
"Will they return?" I murmured, glancing nervously toward the door. The valley was still, recovering from the fearsome resonance that had held me captive. "The valley remembers," he replied enigmatically, "but it will also forget, given time. You have chosen your path, but mysteries linger like shadows. Some things may always remain unanswered. I would never know if what I experienced was reality, or a dream, or something birthed from the anguish of the woods. Yet I had survived, made the choice to confront the darkness. Perhaps that was enough. I stepped out of the cottage and into the vast wilderness, the sunlight touching my face. As I walked away from Headless Valley, I could still hear the soft whispers of the trees, a haunting promise of things half remembered. But I was free, and for now, that was what mattered.